This is such an interesting subject which you've picked. You've decided to pick on this one. It's just such a sensitive subject, because it resonates so much with my growth experience, Daniel, actually. And in fact, I had to go through a lot of challenges myself to not to let it be toxic. So, growing up, I was the eldest of three. That comes with a number of challenges, because being the eldest, you always somehow, without knowing, even though...
I'm the eldest of three too.
Okay, so we can relate on
Yes.
that. Somehow you have extra pressure, not from parents as such. However, you feel that, because obviously you're the first one, so you need to give example to your siblings, to my other two sisters. So somehow there was this extra added pressure. At school, it didn't make it much easier, I must admit, because we were with the nerdish class. I was part of the nerdish group. So we had the pressure that we had to be the best. We had to get the good grades and the best grades. So 80 wasn't good enough. 70 was not good at all. So everything had to be 80, 85. And again, not really from the parents, but again from pressures, from the cohorts, even from the school itself. Moving and taking that mindset then to a work environment with the adolescent years, going into a mixed school after the secondary school. That was such a difficult year. It was such a huge hodgepodge of emotions and coming to grips. In fact, my junior college years, I remember very clearly, I was very lost. I was very, very lost, as if you don't really belong, but then you belong, then you're coming to grips with, what am I going... This is why I empathize with most youngsters nowadays, as I remember those years as being extremely difficult. And I did really poorly at school. Somehow I went to university, and that is where the challenges again started coming up, because of the subjects you choose, yes, and the friends, and then I started settling down a little bit more. And this is when I started venturing outside, and then I went to live in Greece, and then I studied in Greece, I learned Greek. Anyways, then over there, I really tested those boundaries. Okay. Really, in any shape and form, basically, in any way and possible way. And that was real growth. That is where I believe that Nadia was born, really. That was early 20s. You somehow think less, do more. It was such an exciting and challenging period at the same time. It was equally as exciting as challenging. However, that is where, in fact, even talking about it, perhaps you could see even my demeanor. I'm very passionate because it reminds me of so many good things, in the sense I made a lot of friends. I had the opportunity to work against all odds because I didn't really know the language in the beginning. And again, it was a little bit serendipity. I found the job, then I continued studying. And then when I returned to Malta, anyways, I won't bore you with the details, but the rest is history. My point is that I was on this trajectory that what was good enough? So I was like, nothing seemed to be good enough. Constantly on this growth and looking and then doing studies, because with studies, again, when you're doing interviews, they would want to have your academic qualifications together with your experience, because somehow you needed both. Then when so somehow I was like, then when I managed to get the role as a CEO at the age of 34, I was like, oh, okay. So there's some good in what I'm doing, which is fine, but what next? So, anyways, the moral of the story is, Daniel, that it had actually, it's only recently, a few years ago, where I had to come to grips and I had to learn I'm still very passionate about growth and about personal growth and overcoming boundaries and challenges that every person decides to choose to create for himself or herself. However, I believe that there is an appreciation of when you're good enough, an appreciation of when you stop going through that, through the journey of it's never good enough, when it becomes toxic, that you continuously search for to be content, to be at a level where you say, where you're grateful of what you are, who you are, and whom you represent. Notwithstanding that, obviously, you realize that you still need to continue growing. However, it's a different form. It's a different shape, which was going to be very, very unhealthy.